So happy Friday to everyone, especially all our speakers right now, Mr. Poppy, Misam, and RT. How you guys doing?
Doing good. Happy Friday, everyone.
Doing
Yeah,
good.
happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Yes, indeed. Well, I'm excited to be here. I think we got a lot of updates and looking forward to giving everybody a sneak peek at some of the stuff that we're working on as well, kind of behind the curtain, so to speak. So with that, I'll hand it off to Mr. Poppy.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mister. So, first thing we're going to talk about today is the new Ethereum vaults. And I think if you had spent any time on Twitter this week, you saw that I put what are possibly modern works of art up for some of the graphics. So we have the new convex vaults, the TriCrypto, and the Frax. I believe we're still seeing 4-digit APRs on some of those. But yeah, those just came out, and we've been running a very active social media campaign out to each of those communities. And in terms of TVL, I know I haven't checked today, Mister, but maybe off the top of your head, do you remember? I think we saw some healthy investments in there already.
Yeah, definitely. And we're no longer, unfortunately, overnight. We lost our four-digit APR, but there is a silver lining there because that means that we have some good TVL. We're still working to build the TVL in the TriCrypto and the CVX ETH vault, but on Frax, we have pretty close to 3 million USD worth of Frax deposited in there. So it's off to a great start, and what we're seeing is the voting is it's really playing out nicely. Where it's almost, maybe it's a little geeky. Maybe this is the nerd side of me, but I love kind of watching the numbers kind of just shift over. And now we essentially have a seven-way tug of war, right? So it's a battle for emissions for between all the yAxis holders who are voting in our governance. So thank you to everybody that's active in your voting. Thank you to everybody that is participating in the platform. It does rely on all of you to make sure the game theory is playing out. And it's super intriguing to see it play out right now. But yeah, it's good early days for these vaults, but definitely we got some juicy rates on CVX and on the TriCrypto vault. So if you're looking for a place to earn on your assets without having to sell, hey, that may be the place for you.
Yeah, I've been in this space for more than a minute, and this is the first time I've seen TriCrypto. That was a new one for me, and I kind of wish I'd known about it earlier because it's what Bitcoin, Ethereum, and USD stables, right? Tether. And I think that if you're going to be in the space for more than a minute, that's actually a really great way to have exposure to obviously the top two, and then a little bit of USD in there just to stabilize things.
Yeah, and what's really cool about that is, we are mindful that while we are looking to deliver great yield, we are mindful that liquidity is important, right? Because you want to make sure that you're going into a strategy, you're earning your assets through a strategy that is as stable as possible. And that really does just come with the depth of liquidity in these pools. So that lowers the risk profile, right? You do have a lot of folks doing the same thing that you're doing, so it makes it more sustainable in terms of that pool being able to consistently generate that yield. So yeah, we're really looking forward to getting some TVL into the TriCrypto. The liquidity there is really deep, and we're still able to deliver some good yields on that. So yeah, if you got TriCrypto or you're at all holding on to BTC or some stables, that might be the vault for you.
And I think next up on the agenda, the next thing we were going to talk about was going to be some of our business development. Is that right?
Yeah, sure, Bobby. Happy to kick this one off. So one thing we've been doing is trying to leverage a new product that Etherscan came out with. I don't know if folks listening have come across it, but it's called BlockScan Chat. So it's a Ethereum address to address messaging platform, so you can send messages to various wallets. And one of our community mods, Dracula, has some pretty good skills in Dune analytics, so he's able to pull wallets that are using different vaults, the underlying assets of our current vaults, and then also, we're able to see if any of those wallets have deposited into the yAxis products. And by doing that, we're doing some outreach to folks that have the underlying assets but aren't yet using the yAxis vaults to kind of educate them on how they can auto compound and how we can add value to the strategies they're currently in. So we kicked that off this week, and think it's going to be really useful, especially as more and more folks in the crypto community start to leverage the BlockScan Chat product. And I'll turn it over to Mr. Mister to talk a little bit more about some of our partnership programs we're trying to go through.
Yeah, thanks, RT, and thanks for driving that block scan program. I think it's definitely going to return value. That's a little bit of alpha for the community, but any of our competitors that are listening out there, I suppose we just gave them a little alpha on that one. It is a really neat idea, so really excited to see the return on that work. As far as the rest of our partnership work, we are still focused on trying to attract and pitch and attract capital from project treasuries, right? Whether it's these NFT DAOs, these investment DAOs, all these, creator DAOs that are now popping up, right? They are amassing capital in their multi-sigs, in their treasuries, and a lot of it is idle. So we are actively going out there. We are pitching to get them to deploy some of their capital into our vaults so that they can earn, right? Have their assets work for them rather than just sit there in their treasury and just slowly deplete. So on that end, we do have a tracker. I won't go into who we're talking to currently, but we do have a bunch of opportunities here, and we've reignited, rather, I should say, our pitching. So we're now going back into active pitching mode. We've been a little quiet just as we've tried to get a handle on all the different priorities that we've been juggling. It is really starting to settle down, and we are getting in our groove. We're firing in all cylinders at this point. So switching back on into pitching mode, and hopefully we'll get some great institutional capital there. We've had success with that program in the past. Won't get too much into that, but it's a proven model, so we're just going to keep on doing it.
Yes, sir. I like that, firing on all cylinders. I got to tell you, if you guys are sitting there listening, one thing I can tell you, and I know most of you probably know me, I've been very deep on yAxis for a minute. I've never seen the team as energized as I have now. Honest to goodness, it is just frantic pace that we're working to get things done, get things out. So I know the question's always when, right? When are things going to happen? When are things coming? And my answer is always going to be soon. And it's going to be soon because these guys are working hard to get it done soon. For the next, I think the next section, we're going to talk a little bit about the bylaws, speaking of getting things done. RT, do you want to take this one, sir?
Sure. I guess just to step back and give everyone some background, if we have some new listeners or folks that haven't been in the Discord over the past couple months, we're working through setting up, a true DAO. And to do that, we decided, given how early of a project we are, and kind of need some flexibility to get our footing under us and get our initial wave of products out there, we figured it makes sense to use a DAO transition structure and have a DAO council. So kind of have a buffer in between the broader community and the core team that's building the protocol. So we had a community vote and had 6 individuals get voted based on different areas of the project. So we have myself as the operations side of the council. Poppy's kind of now in a dual role, but was the community engagement. Misam, who's on the call, is running our Ethereum council. Abuchino, who you see in the Discord a lot, is running strategy. And Poppy, am I missing anybody?
Yeah, I didn't. I'll be honest, it was a long list, but
yeah, there's
you
more
know,
lists than I thought after I said it out loud.
If we did miss anyone, I apologize. You can blame me for zoning out on the list of names. But Mister, I believe we're going to be posting up a article about this, and we're actually going to have the org chart. We'll have the org chart on there so you guys can see who's who. And just to kind of piggyback what RT was saying, one thing we really want to do with standing up the DAO is number one is right. We want to be there to protect the protocol, to protect the investors, right? That's the number one concern everyone has is, until you stand up that DAO authority, it's really a project driven venture, right? So then you introduce the DAO and suddenly the community does have that measure of influence on the direction of the project and some checks and balances on the power. And that's really important in the DeFi space. But the number two reason we wanted to have the DAO is transparency, clarity, communication. The DAO and everyone on this call that's part of the DAO Council, one of our number one priorities is always going to be to provide as much information as possible back to the community, to distill it in a way that is easy for you guys to understand, because not everyone is an engineer, not everyone is a financial expert, not everyone is whatever, right? So we're gonna make it very digestible, very easy to understand, and we're gonna increase that pace at which we provide those updates, and we're really trying to do weekly updates. I think we're still trying to settle whether it's going to be, the end of the week or beginning of the week, but the intent really is to be in constant daily contact with the champions, with the project team, and to keep you guys in the loop as well. So anyways, back to you, RT.
Yeah, no, great points there, Poppy. And that's really the, driving force behind the bylaws that we've created and we'll be publishing, over the next coming days here for the community to see. And really what the bylaws are is just a framework for our DAO. So we leveraged a lot of good work that's been done by previous DeFi projects that have had a lot of success in their DAO governance. So really what the bylaws are is just a framework for how we want to operate as a decentralized organization. And, a lot of great work from everybody on the DAO Council, input from the community and input from the core team kind of has put us in a really good spot. So we're excited to get that out to the broader community and start implementing the framework that we built out there. And now that we're kind of past that phase, I think the community really start to see what Pappy was talking about is actually using that framework to provide a bunch of transparency and more regular communication with the community, and also a more clear governance structure that will continue to be iterated on and become more and more decentralized as we grow as a protocol. So we're all really excited about it.
Yeah, and if I could jump in here, I think just to kind of add on to what you both are saying, it's great to have that accountability structure, right? It's so good to have your help on making sure that we can enable the transparency that there is a desire for, and certainly, we should be providing it from the get-go. It's just so hard to do that with such a lean core team, and that brings me to maybe the number three thing that is valuable from having the DAO Council, from having this transition process in place. It really does help us extend our own legs, right? It gives us more resource. It's been incredible working with everyone here and folks that are not even on the call, but everybody on the DAO Council. It's not just so great to have the expertise, that domain knowledge that's built into each one of these council leaders. They are the subject matter experts, right, in the seat that they're in. And because of that, there is a lot more conversation. There's pushback on ideas, but that's healthy dialogue, right? That's how good ideas get formed, right? And that collaborative approach is something that, to to shorten this up a little bit, it's welcomed with open arms, and we're just so excited to be going through this process with you guys. So, thanks to you guys on that. And yeah, just number three is just the additional resource and the additional bandwidth we have now. Yeah, we're not only just firing on all cylinders, we have more cylinders to fire on, right? So it's a little upgrade. Maybe we were a nice little four banger before, an i4, and now we're a V12. We're a Lamborghini V12 engine right now.
Boy, V12. But the Teslas have a faster 0 to 60, sir. So.
Oh, don't get me started on that. That's a whole different gigahertz, sir.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. So moving on from, actually, I'm sorry, and I'm looking at the bylaws. So we got a little list of topics you wanted to cover. We had some other members of the council, and we have Misam on. Is there anything, Misam, that you wanted to add before we move on to the next subject?
Yeah, hi guys. Thank you for having me. I'm also really excited, especially speaking on the ETH side of things. I just want to say congratulations to everyone, ourselves, and the entire community for finally being able to say a little bit of a mission accomplished in that dimension that we brought in the three new vaults. So that was a lot of hard work and a lot of energy and time put into it. And so it's extremely beautiful that it's now actually in place and it's actually doing its thing. So that's really good. A couple other things that probably I wanted to add to this is that also I'm very happy that we were working hard on fine tuning our website / app portion on the Ethereum side to make it more intuitive and to reflect more of the yAxis V3 vision. If you have the eye to see, then you'll see that those enhancements have also gone in place, and there's more up and coming. We've got really good ideas that are at play that will eventually make the process even more seamless and require less technical know-how for the end users, because we've got to never forget our actual motto, right? So, which is making DeFi easy, and of course, ideally lucrative as well. But we've got to keep it easy so that it's simpler to do, and simplicity always wins. In that said, and also we also welcome any kind of constructive feedback and ideas, being ourselves at one point end users, knowing the value of that side of the community. There's always going to be things that the head's going to miss and only the hands or the legs are going to catch. So from that vantage, we're setting up even more better channels in which feedback can be provided back to us, so that if we're not seeing something and someone else is seeing it, then we're catching it. But with the caveat here, with this new way of the things that are doing, which we're really proud and really, really happy about, is that now that the things are falling in the place that they are, the final thing is anyone can come up with an idea or a suggestion, and then it just goes in the wind. But what if it was actually implemented on, if it was actually looked on, and if it was viable, then it was actually put into place? Those things are now there, and those working parts in all different dimensions, in this one and on all the other dimensions, whether it's the AVAX walls or BD or everything else, it's now truly getting into that motion where it's not just someone said something and then someone said, okay, we'll think about it, but instead it's now moving in the direction like you've got different minds saying, okay, goes into this category, and then this is the team that needs to focus on it, and then this is how we need to deliver it. So really, really excited about that, and so happy to be a part of building the true fundamentals of a project that we all see and the community sees as definitely going to be one of the best projects in DeFi for the years to come. That's it, Poppy.
All right, thank you, Misam, and I really want to emphasize that one point, which is building a protocol to last, I don't say the ages, but to last the years, right? To make it through to the next cycle. And what we're seeing right now in a lot of the DeFi space is it's hard work. And you can believe that everything we're doing right now is focused on that long-term roadmap, that long-term sustainability of the project. This is not a quick pump and dump. We are building the framework for an enduring protocol. So very excited about that. As more and more of these pieces come together with each one, I get more bullish and more excited. For the next topic, we're going to talk a little bit about the community stuff. So this is a little bit more fun, a little bit more lighthearted. First thing is I did publish the community calendar. I believe this is the first time we've had this published for everyone. And so every week on Wednesdays, I just want to highlight that we will have a game night. Times can be subject to change. We have a role within Discord. Unfortunately, I can't do that in Telegram, but we do have a gaming role in Discord. So you can sign up, just contact me or a moderator. We can give you that tag so that whenever we're coordinating stuff, we can ping you guys. Every Friday, we're going to rotate through either a You Heard, which is where we're at now, or the happy hour. The happy hour, what we're envisioning is to build this happy hour into something that can bridge the community. We don't want it to just be yAxis. The DeFi space is so much bigger, so much more diverse. We want to bring in our partners, our friends, other projects. We just want to bring people in to sit down, have a beer, have whatever with us, or if you don't drink, just have some soda and hang out for an hour or two and just talk crypto, talk DeFi, have a good time. Had a lot of fun last week. Looking forward to next week and the next happy hour. And if anyone has any suggestions on any folks they'd like to invite or any protocols you would like to get engaged, just let me know. I'm working on a little kind of virtual ticket, just a picture. That's something we could send to someone and say, hey, you're invited to join us for the yAxis DeFi happy hour.
And the beers and whiskeys are on Mr. Poppy.
I did mention to you that I was trying to figure out a way that we could send tokens to someone as kind of beer money for participating in the happy hour. And I think there may even be some projects out there that is their purpose. So yeah, it's something to think about. I always am happy to treat someone to a beer. So and then the other things, we'll put some other stuff on that community calendar. Like you're going to see, we have a community moderator meeting every Monday. The DAO Council has a meeting on Mondays. And I'm talking to Mr. and some of the champions to get some of the other items on their agenda, just to give you guys visibility. We want you guys to be able to sit there and see everything that's going on the project side, because there's so much every single day. I got to tell you, it's from morning to night. I'm talking to these guys, and I know they're talking to each other, and there's just so much going on. We want you guys to see all that goodness and just to get that comfort level that, we're just not sitting around on our hands. We're really doing a lot. The other thing I wanted to say on community is just kind of reaching out and asking you guys to do me a solid. The number one commodity in the crypto space is attention. If we don't have someone's attention, that means we don't have their investment. That means we don't have their interest. I'm trying to enhance, my personal goal, right? And you guys probably saw my message earlier in the week in Discord. I'm trying to enhance the visibility of the project just across the larger crypto space, especially on Twitter. So I've been managing the mascot account this past week, and will continue to do so. If you're on Twitter, please, show me some love. Hit the like button, drop a comment in there. Just kind of show that we're engaged and that we do have an active community. That goes a long way just to getting out there and getting in front of people. And a final note on the community is we'll probably be launching some meme and art contest soon. I was going to put it up on we have a like bulletin board. I was going to put it up there, but I'll be announcing that soon with some prizes. But looking for some more like stickers, emojis, that kind of stuff. So if you're an artistic type and that's of interest to you, please feel free to message me. All right. And next up on the agenda, I think, gentlemen, we're going to be talking about Avalanche. That's my number one favorite thing to talk about. So let's get into it. I think we're going to start with RT, or is it Mister?
Yeah, I'm happy to kick it off. So obviously, ETH gas fees have been pretty brutal for pretty much everyone using the network. It's kind of made it more of a chain for larger wallets, maybe institutional types, which we welcome to use our vaults, and that's probably a lot of the capital that's coming in right now. But we wanted to also, our mission is to make DeFi easy, and that means serving retail crypto investors as well. And we, because of that, chose to go after Avalanche as our first first try at multi-chain. So we have a great team of devs now that have really made a ton of progress on this front. So we're excited to launch on Avalanche and create a suite of vaults that retail users can use and not get gouged on gas fees and put their assets to work. So that's coming out very soon, trademark, and we're really excited about it. And the other thing about Avalanche is it's allowing us to kind of serve as a test environment for new tech as well, and new features we're thinking about that we can also port over to Ethereum afterwards. So we think it's going to be a huge step for the yAxis project, and the first of many different chains that we ultimately go on to down the road. Mister, I think there's a couple of things you want to touch on as well, correct?
Yeah, I guess it's the alpha portion of your herd at this point. So, as far as Avalanche is concerned, everything spot on. RT, we do think that we do know rather that the reduction of transaction fees on Avalanche basically, it's so low that it's almost there are no transaction fees, right? Removing that friction is going to be a huge win for us, right? And that is one of the reasons why we chose Avalanche. But it is also because it is an EVM compatible, right? Alt chain L1. It is very similar in terms of code. So it doesn't take as much rejiggering of our core v3 architecture on Ethereum to launch on Avalanche. And that's allowed us to really get up to speed pretty quickly on Avalanche. So, we are still on track to launch by end of month. We won't get any more granular than that because, well, at the end of the day, building software is really hard, right? And any number of things can pop up and slow you down along the way, but that is just a little bit of me hedging right now. Really confident, really proud to say that our devs are also firing on all cylinders, right? They're part of that V12 right now, right? They're at the front of the car, really, and they're making sure that we are secure. Certainly, we are going to be delivering good yield, and as far as a little bit of extra alpha here, they're enabling us to go out and really show off to potential partners, right? Show off our core V3 on Ethereum, use that as validation for what we're going to be doing on Avalanche. And we've been talking to a lot of potential partners out there. One of the reasons we're so excited for Avalanche is it is super early still. And what that means is there are a lot of partnership opportunities out there. So won't get into too much of some of these partners, but in the spirit of giving a little bit of alpha, we are speaking with Trader Joe and we are speaking with Ava Labs. Ava Labs being the creators of Avalanche, right? So we're really excited to see what's possible. And if you can read between the lines, I think, some folks out there might be able to understand just kind of what our go-to-market strategy looks like on Avalanche at this point. But yeah, we'll leave it there. Really excited. Partnerships on the way. Yield is going to be flowing right out of the gate once we launch. And let's bring retail back online, guys. That's the plan.
Yes, I got to tell you, me personally, and I've talked about it in Telegram and in Discord, but I cannot wait for Avalanche. Ethereum, I love you, Ethereum, and you'll always be the king of DeFi, but boy, it's just not cost efficient to do regular transactions. And that's a reality that we absolutely are not blind to, and we've been working hard to get that multi-chain in place. So people like me who don't have 40 ETH in the wallet to do stuff like compounding, you can do it on Avalanche because it's just infinitely cheaper. It's going to be so good.
Yeah, shout
Uh,
out to Vitalik on this one. We still love ETH, but it is becoming very, very painful to use for a regular user. Uh, if you're listening to this, I'm sure it's on your mind. Please help us. Hopefully, Des can do something about
um, all right, so I think next up, this is actually one of the other things I'm really super excited about because this is a spicy service once we roll it out. But we're going to talk about the borrow feature, and Mister, I think you're on the hook for this one as well.
Yeah, turns out I am. I think, as part of the alpha section or the alpha portion of our You Heard today, I think let's talk a little bit about why we're so excited about Borrow, okay? The Borrow lending feature that we have coming up, it's been on our roadmap, so folks that are listening that have been plugged in, have been following us, are in the community, this shouldn't be news to you, but for the sake of the newer folks that may be listening, what we're doing with this new product that's just over the horizon is to enable folks to borrow against their stablecoin collateral at a really competitive, really high LTV, that's loan to value ratio. And the kicker here is the loan that you take out against your collateral pays itself back. And we're able to do that because we already have our core V3 architecture. We have yield generating vaults, right? And the yield that we're generating is nothing to laugh at, to be quite honest. I mean, obviously, I would be the one saying that, right? But it is true. We do have some of the best rates, right, on some of the most stable best rates out there because again we're not only just going after high yield opportunities, but we are looking at liquidity, right? We are looking to reduce our risk profile for our investors because there's no point earning high yield if poof your assets get inflated, your pool disappears, right? Whatever happens, that yield needs to continue to come through, right? So we already have this yield generating architecture. And what we're going to use that to do is repay the loans using the collateral that users will deposit into the borrow lending feature slash product, right? So just kind of the way it works at a high level is you have a bag of stable coins. You actually would rather not, spend all of it, but you do need to spend, you have a need to mobilize some of it, whether it's for a real world purchase, perhaps, maybe it's for an NFT, right? Or maybe you're looking to do some advanced DeFi strategies, right? Maybe you're looking to loop a little bit, right? For those of you that know what it is, we'll leave it there. But you know the idea is that they would bring it in, and instead of having to actually spend their stablecoin, what they can do is deposit into the vault and deposit into the borrow lending feature rather, and access a high percentage of that collateral that they deposit in and get that immediately back in stablecoin and be able to spend that stablecoin right out of the gate. Meanwhile, the amount that they took out against their collateral, the loan that they took out, is paid back because we take the amount they deposited and we put it to work in our vaults, right? And the yield it generates, we give right back to the borrow lending feature user in terms of paying back that loan. So in a matter of years, after they've taken out the loan and spent the money, looped, NFT, bought a car, bought a boat, whatever it is, their loan gets paid back for them. And once that happens, they can take the full value of their collateral right back out. So it's essentially what we're allowing are free loans, right, over a certain period of time. And that right there, I think, is exciting, not just in terms of offering more value to our existing users, incredible value to anybody that's looking to use a product like this, because that will attract them to yAxis in the first place and then expose them to our suite of products, right? But from the project standpoint, from where we sit, it's an incredible opportunity to generate revenue, right? And we won't get into the tokenomics, we won't get into the mechanics of that, but we are very excited for Borrow because it is a revenue generating opportunity for us, right? And while we are focused on revenue across the board, we're really, really excited to see what the revenue potential is from Borrow. But yeah, we are looking to launch that after Avalanche, and a little bit of additional alpha for everybody. We're we're actually, I don't want to say ahead of schedule on that one, but we're in a really good place with Borrow. We are standing up the front end at this point. The back end, the contracts are done, the patches are done, and we're looking to stand up a front end and start testing, right? There Throughout this process, we're going to continue to find things that we need to maybe tweak a little bit, maybe optimize certain lines of code, and that's part of why building software is so hard, and why we prefer not to commit ourselves to hard and fast timelines, because so many things can happen, right? In the name of having clean code, in the name of reducing your risk profile, strengthening your security, right? And 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 but regardless, with all those considerations in place, we're in a great place for Borrow. Like I said, we're standing up the front end. We're about to start testing things, and I think once that stuff starts to happen, it'll start to become a little bit more visible on chain. So maybe at that point we can start to give more and more alpha, because some of it's going to be out of the bag anyway, the cat rather. But yeah, so that's where we stand on Borrow.
Yeah, and you start to see a theme with everything that we're talking about, and you could almost make a list that, looking back through 2021 into the start of 2022, of what are the lessons learned, what are the best practices of DeFi 2.0, what worked and what didn't. And what worked is what we are integrating into yAxis. Everything that you're seeing, going multi-chain, adding the Borrow feature. Uh, and actually, I think you have some more stuff to cover. So maybe I'm a little bit ahead of myself, but this is what I've been saying for a long time, which is we are taking the best parts of what worked in the DeFi 2.0 model, and we are adopting that. And that's why I'm so excited about all of these. So, Mister, I think you had one more item, though,
Oh,
that
I
you were
did.
going to.
Yeah. Okay, sure. I guess we're giving more alpha now. So the next thing, as far as our roadmap, is we are looking ahead to leveraged trading, and we're looking to launch a leveraged trading product. We're still working out the details of it, but while we work out the details, that hasn't stopped us from starting development work. So code base is being worked on at this point. We are starting to explore early design concepts of what that UI might be, really focused on a clean user experience, right? Kind of making sure that the ethos of y-axis still rings true there, right? That making it as easy as possible, as frictionless as possible, visually appealing and not too cluttered, right? It maybe, for some folks that might seem like not really a big deal, but the devil really is in the details, right? That cohesive user experience from no awareness all the way to becoming a user and depositing into our platform. The experience of every touch point becomes this, is additive. It becomes what defines whether or not we are going to actually be able to ultimately attract and retain this capital, right? So we're thinking through all those things now, you know, super excited for the revenue potential here. And that is a common theme. You're right, Big Poppy, right, Mr. Poppy? We need to be focused on revenue as this DeFi 2.0 quote unquote narrative continues to unfold, what is clear, right? Everybody has a slightly different definition of what DeFi 2.0 really means, but what's really becoming clear are some of the trends that are out there. And I think we spoke to this a little bit last time, and not to beat our chest a little bit too much, but we've been focused on all these things that are now becoming trendy, right? It is about healthy tokenomics. It is about capital discipline, making sure that we're managing our capital, not just our cash, but our tokens in a way that ensures that long-term runway, right? And being mindful about how we deploy, where we deploy, what we allocate, right? All these different pieces of the puzzle need to come together to make to ensure that longevity, that blue chippiness that we're going for, right? And leverage is going to be a big part of that. And I think, we definitely should probably have me shut up a little bit before I give too much away. But all that to say, we're in a good place with leverage as well because of our developers, because they are supporting a multi-stream pipeline, which allows us to, continue to work ahead as we focus on immediate term milestones, right? And all along the way, on all these different work streams that we're supporting, you run into problems, and it's not about avoiding the problems, right? Success is not about being able to be perfect. Success is really about how you adapt, how you deal with these bumps in the road. And I'm really proud to say our devs are doing a fantastic job on that, right? They're they just actually, we just got off a call and gave us some really good news. Won't get into that. That is a little bit too much alpha for this call, but all that to say, shout out to Haz is listening on the call right now. So what's up, sir? Thanks for all you do. And I'll end it there, Mr. Poppy.
Yes, the unspoken heroes. I know we get the fun job. We're the guys that get to sit here and tell you guys the good news. They're the ones that actually have to code and implement it. So thank you guys. Really, really do appreciate the hustle and the hard work on your part. So normally when we get to the end of these calls, we have a little bit of Q&A. One thing we've done since the DAO Council has come online is we've added a channel into Discord. It's called Ask DAO Anything. I would have used proper English, like Ask the DAO Anything, but you can only fit so many characters in there. So ask the DAO whatever is on your mind, and we will do our best to answer it. It is open 24/7, anytime. If you wake up at 2 a.m. and you think, boy, I got this question about yAxis, I would love to ask the guys, drop it in there and we'll answer it. But what that means is that for the purposes of the you heard, we don't really have a lot of Q&A here. There was one question that was kind of pending that I'm just going to throw it out there. If you don't have an answer, mister, because I'm putting you on the spot, that's okay. But does yAxis need a special bridge because it's a non-ERC20 token? And I think a lot of people forget that yAxis is the first of its kind, if I remember right, for the particular type of ERC token that we are.
Yeah, and not on the spot at all. I think that's a great question, in fact, and it gives us a chance to maybe plug ourselves again real quick. We are not technically an ERC20, right? We are an ERC 677. What does that mean? Well, it means that on top of all the functionality of ERC20, we have the ability to do what is called a transfer in call. There is that functionality built into the ERC 677 token standard, and that allows us to streamline the a couple transactions into one. And instead of an approve and stake, you can approve and instead of approving and staking across two separate transactions, that does allow us to approve and stake in one go. Now, what that means for the bridge is actually, it's a pretty short answer. No, we don't need a special bridge, right? Because we are fully backwards compatible with the ERC20, we're using standard bridges, right? And if that question was kind of getting at, potential security risks, I think that doesn't open us up to any additional security risks, right? We are pretty standardized. We're using a standard bridge approach, and really, we don't see the bridge being a huge volume play for us. We don't see a lot of volume moving through our bridge, just because, if we play this out a little bit, the folks that are looking to use that bridge are the folks that have been loyally holding on, right? Have been supporting the project, but for whatever reason, right, the gas landscape has changed. That's changed some of our users' ability to actually engage with the protocol, right? Because all these transactions are so expensive. So we do see uh, folks wanting to bridge out over to Avalanche, right? And that's why we built the bridge. That's why we wanted to make sure that we take care of all our loyal users, right? They're stuck right now. And they've been so loyal. They've been supporting us this whole time. We wanted to ensure that they have a great user experience going forward on Avalanche, right? But at the end of the day, the bridge is probably only going to be used by a certain subset of our existing holder base. The vast majority of our retail inflow that we're expecting with our Avalanche launch will happen on Avalanche. And that's why we purposely did decide to create an LP, use the Trader Joe AMM, right? So that we do have liquidity tradable. We do have a tradable market on Avalanche that allows anybody, new user, existing user, whatever, to go to Avalanche and buy the token, come into our V3 on Avalanche and use the protocol to its fullest, whether it's depositing into the vault and then locking up the yAxis to boost your APR, or it's voting to drive emissions to your favorite vault. All that functionality is over there as well. So we're providing kind of a dual solution here, right? Giving a better user experience, a less transactional, a high cost transaction experience for our existing users, allow them to go bridge over to Avalanche, but also support an entirely new audience, right? This entire retail audience that is on Avalanche. We're really excited to welcome them into the fold as well.
Yes, sir. Very, very excited. I can't wait to get onto a chain that doesn't cost me $100, $200, $300 for a transaction. So I think that brings us to the end of the your herd. Is there any parting comments from anyone on the call? I'll start with RT. Anything, sir? Okay.
Hey, sorry, couldn't get off mute there. No, just super excited about everything we talked about today, and just encourage everyone to ask any questions in the Discord and just come by and hang out. We always welcome community participation.
Yes, sir. And for myself, nothing. Just the Super Bowl this weekend. So I hope you guys got your bets in. I'm not going to say who I think's going to win, but maybe when you see Poppy next week, he'll be 100 yAxis richer. And and then I'll pass it to you, Mister, for any closing comments.
Yeah, closing comments, I suppose, would be West Coast, Best Coast. So we'll see how it goes on Super Bowl there, Mr. Poppy. Maybe I'll be 100 yAxis richer. But quick little plug before we go, y'all. This is a call for contributors. We are in need of folks with design skills, especially animation skills. We are looking for folks um, with experience on front end. If you have any front end Web3 experience, we are looking for folks there. And I think, for you, Mr. Poppy, we are looking for some community ambassadors to be part of our outreach team. These are all compensated roles, whether they be bounty compensated or otherwise. The conversation is open on that front, but we'd love to start a conversation with you. If you're out there, if you're listening to this, you are a front end developer, if you are someone that just knows DeFi and is really active within a lot of communities, please come talk to us. If you have design, graphic design, animation, MoGraph skills, come talk to us. Reach out to us. We're on Twitter, obviously, but come hit us up on Discord. It's discord.gg/yAxis-project. And we're also on Telegram. I don't think we have a vanity URL there, but you can find all our links on yAxis.io.